All right, everybody. Welcome to Fonecallz. We have a very, very special episode. We have our best friend in the house, Cooper Johnson.
Hey. Hey, bestie. Hey,
Hey.
besties.
Hey, Coop, what's up?
Oh, NM. What's going on with you guys? How's podcast life?
Dude, it's been like nuts since we started this thing.
Dude, it's like, Coop, we have like 100 views on one episode. It was like, I don't know,
Snap.
can you fathom that?
That's like, I mean, it's because it's a podcast. You don't have to worry about people, bothering you on the street. But as soon as you're in the grocery store checkout, you as soon as you talk, like, can I use this coupon? Or you say something like that, then everyone's like, is that Vinny DeGaetano?
I know that voice.
I know that voice.
It happened. It actually is so funny you bring that up because that did happen yesterday where I was in the checkout line. But I said, as she checked me out, I was like, thanks, welcome to Fonecallz. And she was like, which definitely tipped her off even more so.
Yeah.
You're just going around LA just saying welcome to Fonecallz and just hoping someone connects the dots, and she nailed it. So good work. It's strategy's working.
Hello?
Oh, guys, what? I feel like we catch up often, but then again, not enough. Like, Coop, I feel like the last time we talked was like a week or two ago.
I thought you were gonna say like 2 or 3 months ago.
The
It
last
hasn't
time,
been that long.
no, but you know what? I'm gonna flex you guys up here a little bit. It feels like I've been talking to you because I've been listening to the episodes. I've been listening. I listen to every single one except for the
Holy
Matrix one, because even though I gathered you guys aren't huge fans of it, I haven't watched it yet. And thanks for you said no spoil. You said there would be spoilers, and I don't want to be spoiled. So
Okay,
still
fair
gotta
enough.
watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Coop, can I ask? I mean, I know you're a friend, which is why I expect you to be brutally honest. Is it good?
Good? No. I wouldn't say good. But it is a podcast. So
That's two people talking.
yeah, it is. And that's good point, Aaron. It is two people talking about what? I don't know. And where are we going? I don't know. But, did the two people they chat? And I appreciate that on behalf of you guys.
I mean, that's so cool though, that because seeing that you kind of don't like it, that you're willing to join us.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Coop needs to help us raise the bar, because the bar we set for ourselves, Coop, was just two people talking. So that's a pretty low bar to hit.
Yeah, some people say just starting is enough, and in this case, it was really just enough, just starting. So I think close the book, because episode 7 is when they all die off, right? I was listening.
Everyone more than 7 is
a blessing.
Is an accomplishment.
But no, but for real though, I don't know if it's because I'm just good friends with you guys or not, but I have a lot of fun listening to you guys banter back and forth. I loll at like the gym or just walking around.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Lots of
Thank
lolls.
you.
Marty and Ian have both gave us feedback as well, and both of them have said, well, they end pretty abruptly. And I was like, yeah, I guess we haven't really figured out how to end them yet. So it's kind of just Vinny and I staring at each other being like, well, for me, it's time for bed. And then for Vin, it's like, I got to make some dinner or something.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what? Let's not worry about how these end. Let's just start the dang thing.
Have we not
been
started?
Vin?
But let's get into the meat of today's episode.
What's the meat?
Let's cut into this juicy ribeye. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and just talk about F&D, like some sketches we've made, like our experiences working together,
Coop, you know from listening to the episodes how unlike Vinny this is, because he doesn't like to be in a box.
Yeah, why are you sitting there?
Even to hear him discussing like topics that we need to stay on course. The beginning of the episodes when we first started this, I was the one being like, Vin, we need some structure. And he's like, dude, just go wherever, man. He's all like hippy dippy about it.
I'm like, yeah.
dude,
Now
that's
you're trying
that's
to
like the
bring
innate,
us back and contain us?
can't contain. And Vin, let out your Sum 41, dude. Get angsty,
Dude, you want to see the 41 gun salute? You know about the 41 gun salute?
Is that a thing?
It's a real,
no one
yeah.
can see, listener. He's got a 4 and a middle finger up for the 41 gun salute. That's pretty good.
Dude, speaking of some punk rock, if I will transition us into some F&D talk, I was going through our dailies and I watched the split punkality. Is that what we called it? Where Coop, you have like amnesia and you don't remember your punk side.
Oh yeah. That's
and
right.
Vin is like recalling it to you and you're like, dude, that would crack me up so bad. And I forgot entirely about it.
Oh my god.
I don't know if it's just because like we were there, but I'll go back and I'll watch like 10 dailies and like laugh my ass off watching them. And it's like it's funny because I'll also remember that sometimes filming them, it's like this is gonna suck. Like this is not funny. Like this is so boring. And then we edit it and it's like, oh no, this is good. This is funny. And then I'll watch one I haven't watched like literally in like 10 years, and it's like, holy shit.
Well, I think you get that dose of nostalgia when you watch the old ones too. It's like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it's full on nostalgia. And also, yeah, I always think of those, like the dailies, as like in 10, 20 years or something, it's like the best. You know how our parents or even grandparents might have like some old Bolex footage or something like that of when they were kids, but like we get to have some like fun cut together nonsense to like look back on, and just, I don't know, those are like all of our 20s basically, you know, all in these little 15-second to 3-minute vlogs.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, except with Grandpa's Bolex videos, it's like him and Grandma going to like the park having a picnic, and with us, it's like throwing dildos into a ceiling fan.
Exactly.
It's like, ah,
I love that.
It's even better.
And also, in all those old Bolex videos from like Grandma and Grandpa, why someone's always waving way too fast, and it's someone's swinging a baseball bat like not naturally.
I think is the term, is it undercranked?
Maybe
it's an undercranked thing.
Slightly.
But I just look at, maybe it's undercranked, but I think also maybe they're just like, they were so excited that there was somebody brought a camera. So they were just jacked.
Another one that I watched just 2 nights ago because I stumbled on, give a shout out to Dylan Price, favorite boy.
Dylan P.
Yeah, baby.
On his website, he had some of the work that he did for us, including the titles on the dailies, and it linked to Lobster to Go, which was the episode when Vin was out of the office. So Dylan, Cooper, and myself threw a party, ordered some lobster, some lemon sorbet, and then revealed him the footage the next day on a bet that we had a great time, even though he didn't believe us.
You guys got me so good.
That was
whose idea was that, by the way? Would that was that all three you riffing, or did someone have like the whole concept, like let's order this shit and then prank Vin?
I think it evolved naturally. At first, it was like, well, Vin's out here, so for the daily, we're just gonna, order $50 lobsters.
Yeah.
And then, as we were probably filming it, it was like, oh, and then we're gonna show him, because the more absurd this gets, the less he's gonna believe that we actually did this.
Yeah, you guys played like pin the tail on the donkey. Yeah, some kind of pin the tail.
We put like your face on it. It was like pin the tail on the Vinny or something.
Yeah.
But then, by the way, we didn't have that crazy YouTube money. We bought a lobster, and that's, and you take it to go, and it was the best we could do. I don't advise taking lobster to go, but it was great and it's delicious, and it embarrassed the hell out of Vinny. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Are there any that like come to mind for you guys, like that you've looked back on recently?
I watched the one where it was like we went to Bowling Green. And it was like we had partied that weekend, and that brings to mind the one where we went to those campgrounds with Brandon Rizzo, and just thinking of like the amount of like debauchery, like just drinking, like just being like openly drunk on camera and being like, this is cool, like this is great. I mean, it was fun back then. I'm thinking of like if we were to do that now, like I'd have no interest in doing that, but it just is funny that back then it was like, this is cool. Like I have no hang-ups about any of this.
We thought it was cool. I can't verify that it actually was cool. Probably not. But we thought it was cool back then. Yeah. We laughed about it.
Not saying it was objectively cool, but...
Coop, what about you?
Oh, man. Honestly, any that like there were some that just had like 6 or 7 of our friends just all hanging out. Like when the Ask a Pimp a Question, it was almost like a behind the scenes that John Carmen was filming.
Right.
Which was so funny.
Oh, no, that was... That was Robostitutes.
Oh, Robostitutes. Did that ever
that
see the
was a
light of day?
sketch no, we never finished it. But if I remember, I don't even remember the entire concept of the sketch, but it was just Vinny had like robot prostitutes that worked for him, and they would like give our friends fellatio. I don't know. Was that it? I mean,
and I think I had to like clean the cum out of them or something.
We're like, all right, Greg, go behind the dumpster, and Ian, put this robot costume on and just move your head back and forth.
Yeah, that was the gist of it.
The jizzed of it.
The jizzed of it, man, really nutted and bolted all over him, huh? But other than that, I think Vinny, Vin, you and I just went out and shot this one, but we handcuffed Vinny to a stool or to like a chair.
Stool me once.
That's right. And Vin had to walk all around Wrigleyville. And I was just filming from afar of him like going into like bars and be like, "Hey, does anyone have a handcuff key or anything?" And I think somebody was like, I don't know if they were a cop or like a wannabe cop, and they happened to have like handcuff keys on them or something like that. And then like
I don't remember that.
They got you out, but yeah, you literally, I don't know. The setup was something dumb like, "Oh, I'm not going to handcuff you, I swear." And you're like, "Well, I did it," and then whatever, and then now you have to walk out into Wrigleyville with handcuffed to a stool.
You know what's interesting about that is like I remember like doing it, but like no memory comes to mind of like no like POV memory comes to mind of like actually walking around Wrigleyville like handcuffed to a chair. Which you would think that that'd be like a remarkable enough thing that you do that like I would remember even the interaction with the guy, but like I just don't have it.
Yeah, I guess that goes to show like how much of that category of nonsense that I guess we were doing at that time, where it all just kind of blurs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even smoking like a lot of weed back then. I mean, not by most people's standards. Like, I don't know where they all went.
You remember when we were all jumping on the rolly chair as hard as we possibly could?
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
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 Like none of us could like sit, and for whatever reason.
That would I believe that one was called The Situation.
The Situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
also
had a lot of pun titles.
I think sometimes it was like let's find the pun first and then do the idea. Remember we almost did the Carpentition, which was like we were going to do a competition of being carpenters where like we all try to build a chair or something, and we go get lumber, and like that was the concept. But thank God we never actually went through with that one.
I don't even remember that one.
I don't remember that either.
Aside from a couple, most dailies were completely off the cuff, and I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I feel like we would just pick up the camera and go, and it would be whatever we were doing that day or whatever we were. It would just evolve, Like, oh, we got to go to the hardware store to pick up some stuff, and that was like the daily.
Yeah, and also we've talked about that before, where it's like the moment we're like, ooh, let's go to a Christmas tree lot and buy a tree and decorate it, and like that'll be fun. Like, who cares? Hilarity ensues. And then every single time we tried to think of it ahead of time, it was just stale and like I don't know. It just didn't,
the magic wasn't there.
It didn't play. So it's like, yeah, everything really was just go for it and let the whatever this is going to be find itself while we're doing it.
It brings to mind that like when we did do the dailies, like Cooper and I were just talking about this the other day, that like so these heightened versions of ourselves. It was there's still like there's like a veil where it's not really us, and then doing this podcast, this is like of all like the creative shit we've done or like whatever content we've put out, this is like the most, I guess, real we've ever been in front of an audience.
The thinnest the veil has been, I think you said, or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I remember even like people, we've met people over the years who have been really into the dailies and our videos and kind of like are thrown off, I guess, when they're like, huh, so you're not like being wacky. I'm like, no, I don't know.
This is just us being normal human beings. People have always been interested in what we do. When you see the dailies, they're like, what do you guys do for a living? It's clearly not the dailies. The dailies are bringing in what? At the later years, it was like 10,000 views a video.
Tens of dollars.
Yeah, it's not like we're rolling in dough from those. And so it was like always very curious to people watching, like, okay, you guys look like you're just goofing off all day. You're in an office. I thought maybe we should address on the podcast what our real careers were looking like behind the scenes of all the fun videos. I should preface this by saying, like, F&D as a YouTube channel was never like something that all of us could live off of. It at times brought in some nice monthly chunks, but it wasn't something we were like, all right, pack it up. You know, like this could be full time, because a lot of that money I feel like was because of like viral videos that when some of them took off, but it wasn't like we were consistently hitting million view uploads.
We also lacked the foresight to like really hit YouTube hard, like because we took the time off to make Action World and then Punching and ultimately the film, but even just taking the time off to do like Action World and Punching was like we starved the algorithm, and then the algorithm starved us, and then and then
It's an apt way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I don't know, like to hear people say like I want to be a YouTuber as a career, and that there is like a model you can follow, and there's like things you can do like almost scientifically to gain you viewers that like we weren't doing because we're filmmakers and we just want to make films. And YouTube was just and I'm being serious when I say this, but YouTube was just a platform, you know? It was just a platform to be goofy artists, and we never looked at it as like this is a business model to go after.
Well, yeah, I don't think we never cared for that. I mean, anything, and even before I even met you guys, and you were just shared the same mindset of let's make something that we think is fun and funny, and then it's really cool that other people seem to think so too. I don't know. I just found that, you know, when we were all making stuff, it was just for us and our friends and whatever, you know, if we could just make each other laugh, that's kind of all we really cared about.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And also like the films that we took time away from YouTube to make that probably inevitably hurt our viewership. I think, you know, that was also just for us. We wanted to pursue bigger things, which is not not the best route to be a full-time YouTuber, you know? Like you can't be like, oh, I want to grow my audience. I want to grow, you know, my views, and be like, hey, we're going to make a longer project and peace out for 6 months. It just doesn't work that way. But we did that consistently because I think all three of us were much more interested in, let's do a short film, let's do a feature. It was like challenging ourselves more.
And then this is where also the advertising stuff came in, where the advertising work was like, it was lucrative money that was right there. And it was like, and that then took time away from sketches, where it was like, yeah, we could try to write and shoot something this week, or we can like produce this job for Taco Bell. You know, I mean, that essentially for like, you know, almost 10 years, that was our jobs. We were freelance advertisers.
Freelance goofballs, basically.
That's a better way to put it.
And that's what, you know, I look back, and that's something that, you know, I think they were in two different buckets, right? It's like the sketch stuff that we were doing, and the shorts and the features and all of that, and then the advertising. And I think we never really committed to one or the other over the course of like, you know, those 10 years, I think, which, you know, does that hurt you if you don't just go full steam in one direction or the other? I don't know. But I just looked at it as like you get burnt out on one and you go try to do the other. And then, you know, and vice versa, not to mention like the ad stuff was paying, you know, decent. So that, you know, out of necessity too, you have to get that. But yeah, I don't know. We just kind of really tried to balance and didn't really go full tilt into one or the other.
I think that in retrospect, it was probably preferable that way. Talking to a lot of ad people, I feel like I would hear a lot is like, oh man, I want to make shorts like you guys do. And, you know, for us, it was like, well, we want to make money like you, you know, so it's like you can't have the best of both worlds, you know, that's why we were always split.
It brings to mind that, was it from Billy Madison when he grabs that like fat kid's face and he's like, cherish it?
Yeah.
He's like, that would be like a 15 year like ad veteran, like seeing these like fresh kids come in and be like, hold on to what you have. Don't end
I
up
can't
like...
wait till I go to hike school, Billy.
Yeah.
But no, there were people that were encouraging us to like stick on what we were doing, because I think a lot of people in that industry just start off as like just film creative people, and then, you know, and then you get older and you got adult bills and you start a family, and there's money there to be made, so you do that.
Yeah.
I think that all those variables contributed in us just if it could help explain to anybody who was like, what, like, why didn't you guys hit YouTube harder? It would be all that, you know, it was just like the path forward would be so difficult. And also I should just point out that the people doing YouTube full time that make it work, like kudos to them, because it is a grind. It is like, that is so much work to be consistently uploading, to feed that algorithm, you know, to make sure that you're staying in front of people's screens. Not only that, but I mean, on all platforms, cutting up your videos so that they go on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and pushing stuff out. I mean, it is like 24/7. And I don't think that, personally, I never felt like I had the stamina.
Yeah, it's a lot. And even just the pressure to just like continuously come up with something that we all think is like not shit, you know? Like, I think like the quality quantity thing comes in, at least, I don't know, whatever we wanted to put out, I think we thought was quality, you know? And I think for a lot of those channels, it's like, let's do a bunch of reaction videos with like this goofy character. Like, okay, cool. That'll be 200 videos for the year. And then, you know, for one section. But yeah, that was just the stamina thing. And also just like you get the writer's block and get burnt out of just, you know, not making what you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely.
Great talk. See you guys later.
All right.
All right. We did
Cool.
it.
Big gulps.
With all that in mind, we could probably talk about where that has led us, all of our ad work. You know, I got a job at an ad agency called Mute 6 in California, and I was doing ad work for them, which was like, you know, clients' social media needs. Have since, you know, departed from them and joined another company. But Cooper and Vinny, what do you guys do?
Vin, where do you work?
I work at Mute 6 too.
Well, that's where Aaron used to work.
That's where Aaron used to work. Aaron has since left the company, but Aaron did, you know, he did help me get a job there. So now I am an editor at a marketing and advertising agency, you know, trying to get you into the funnel on Instagram or Facebook and get you in the funnel.
Cooper, what do you do?
I do the same thing at Mute 6. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I do. I'm a like producing video, like creative producer at, it's called Tube Science. It's the same kind of thing. We just, you know, prey on people's insecurities and try to get them to buy our products on social media.
Listen, you guys know how I used to be about being a fucking sellout, and I've definitely shed that persona.
I was just going to say, all Vinny ever needed was a comfy, cozy salary, and then he would drop it all. But when we were doing ad work in the beginning, it was like, it was just not enough. It was like, is it worth it for me to be selling people this stuff? And I'm like, Vin, we're not selling people Marlboro cigarettes.
I did have a conversation once with a dude who was working for a cigarette company. I straight up said, do you have any qualms with that? And he was like, no, what? And I think he had passed the stage of like not giving a shit anymore. And I was still, you know, on the side of like, who wants to be doing this? Also inspired by like Bill Hicks talk about, are you in advertising? Kill yourself. Reading a book by like David Cross, where David Cross is talking about like, you know, in the 90s, it was like selling out was like the worst thing you could do. So like having all of this in my head and then like going into these spaces where it's like very corporate, very like, to me, was like stuffy, and it just being like, quote unquote bad. In my early 20s feeling that way about it.
I remember riding the train home many days after a work at the agency and just trying to reel you back in because I was so worried you were going to like break off from our next big ad gig.
Yeah, but then I mean, it would be like we'd be doing them, and then you're like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, the calls wouldn't come in for a little bit, and then you'd be like, hey, is there any ad gigs coming up?
Where's the ad work?
I need that money, dude.
Yeah.
In Vin's defense, I remember one of the first jobs we got from Motorola was such a headache for me that I wanted to pass up the second job from Motorola, which was a pretty nice payday for us. And I'm very glad I didn't, but that was an insane first foray into.
Well, yeah, you had a producer like calling you at like 3 a.m, being like, "Hey, we have some changes. Like, can you please? We need to get new exports out." Like, you're like, bro, like nothing.
Just about
nothing is this important in advertising.
I probably did over 30 revisions in the space of like less than a week. It was insane the amount of nitpicking turnaround.
I felt that too because I remember you were stressing about those, and we were in the living room watching Trailer Park Boys. Like you got, like you got that, dude. Thanks.
Like, dude, I hope Aaron like gets that out in time because like we gotta get paid.
So we're all still active in the ad world now, but F&D is very much, we got projects on the back burner that we're still poking at and, want to bring to life. It's just kind of like that mix, it's like finding the time and the right opportunity to make it happen.
Yeah, you get older and it gets harder, right? To like get those projects done. And, our goal isn't every day to go in and write a goofy sketch and figure out, how to shoot it for under $300 anymore. It's like do our jobs and then, find the energy to do the passionate, projects too.
Coop, you and I just shot something. We're going to start putting videos up on like TikTok just to get into that world. And just, I mean, as Aaron, as we're doing the podcast, it's just another fun, goofy, creative outlet. But like, asking your friends to like come and shoot stuff is not as easy anymore because it's like, I don't want to ask people unless we could pay them, really. It's like, because everyone's time is valuable. I always felt like every sketch we did, I always felt like we were trying to do a little bit better than the last one. And like, that was this mindset that was hard to break to like, just do something like way less, not serious, but like not give as much of a shit about like, how great it's going to be, just doing it because it's fun. So just tapping back into that and, having to just shoot stuff like ourselves, like passing the camera back and forth and, not having a sound person and someone doing the lights. And
that's the path that we didn't take. Not to say that some of our stuff wasn't just like, like guerrilla filmmaking, just get it done, scrappy. I mean, that's how everything was, but we were always striving for that high production value, real locations, real costumes, real makeup. We wanted it to look as good as possible. Meanwhile, here comes Gus Johnson wearing a ripped up crappy wig with like literally a piece of paper taped to his chest saying who he is. And then he does a whole sketch, for millions of views. And that's not to shit on Gus Johnson or anybody like that. I think they put out great content that's hilarious. But there was this whole wave of creators that came after us that it was like, well, we don't actually need to find a castle to shoot in. The audience will get it. And then, to me, I'm like, but we spent, I'm like, no, we spent so much time like finding all the places and making it look as legit as possible.
Do you know how much hay we put in our bedroom to make it look like a stable?
And that's the difference, I guess, between, we were trying to make short films and, these guys are making memes. It doesn't, you just need enough to get the point across. And that just was like killer for us because we would strap ourselves to a sketch for like a whole month it would take us. And meanwhile, new creators would be able to pump out 5 sketches in like a week.
Yeah, and there's like, I mean, even in our old office in Chicago, I mean, there's like 80 note cards of concepts that like half of them are written out. They're just things like, and we can't shoot that because like we need to be like at a lake house or we need like a cabin and like we need this, we need like an airplane hangar and like some dumb shit. And we're like, man, we could have, I don't know. I mean, I don't fault us for that. I mean, to an extent, I suppose like we could, some things just like, you want it to look fantastic and it'll only work like the way we're hoping it does if it does have that production value element. But now it's like with TikTok and basically just, memes, it's the new form of communication in general. It's just literally how people communicate. And it is pretty cool just opening up the way people can like do sketch and even like 15 seconds or whatever.
Did you guys ever feel like, because I always felt like with the sketches, like there was always a part of me that felt like I wanted them to like say something, I wanted there to be like a greater point. And then, but also at the end of the day, it's like they're just goofy comedy sketches.
If you look back, a lot of our stuff looks at like bully dynamic or like douchebags.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is interesting. Paging Dr. Freud. Hello. What I mean, even like Tapout, for example, is like, I don't think it was just like, that's a goofy character. I think we were just like, so the douchiness that was behind the Tapout shirt of like a lot of people wearing it, not to say everybody, but like there was like the cliche of the person who wears this shirt and like the bejeweled shit and Aeropostale, all that stuff that I think we glommed onto like that persona or that character.
I was just going to ask if, even prior to that shoot, if you guys had ever met anyone who unironically wore Tapout shirts. And I don't think I'd ever even met anyone who wore it, but it was just, you just kind of had an idea of this individual.
Yeah, it was all rolled into one with me. I don't, maybe Tapout once or maybe I've met someone before that, but like more so it was like was it Aeropostale or Aeropostale?
No, it was, what was the?
It was like the bejeweled shirts with like the snakes and I don't know.
It was a guy's
Affliction.
Yes, Affliction, and there was another one too. It was like Ed Hardy.
Ed Hardy. Okay,
That's what it was.
I think that we were kind of split on social commentary, like feeding that into our videos, because I think that if we found it was all about the idea. If the idea called for it and it was like fit well, then I think we liked it. But then you would have stuff like Grundy the Meat Man, that we weren't trying to really say anything other than just like, we love this character, we love build, like it was like more world building and
that was about
like
climate change.
Dynamic.
I'm pretty sure. Eat less meat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like child abuse too.
A lot of our stuff's about child abuse for the most part.
Fist fight my dad.
Free candy.
You're right about the bullying, Coop.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. I have reflected on that. I don't know. Were we all? I don't think we were all bullied very like that much in high school. But like when Vin gets his face punched in, there's obviously the cheer uppers, the put downers. There's Tapout.
Oh yeah. Maybe I think we just really like that dynamic because it was so easy to paint the enemy. You know.
Yeah, the conflict's already built in, and it's just funny to have a character that's just like dumb, deep voice, like just I don't know. It's just something funny about it.
The high school jock bully like has always been like appealing to. I mean, Jeremy Slinson's brother. I mean, John played him so well. That's always been appealing to me.
I don't know if this is bullying. It's worse than that. It's when we did Free Candy, where Brian plays the pedophile. After we did that one, my dad called me and he's like, "I don't know about that one, Vince." I was like, "What's wrong with it?" He's like, when you have kids of your own, you'll get it. But that was a little much for me. I was like, okay, sorry, I guess.
There's a lot of truth to that. You don't like dude, at that age, we were just looking for any hot button things to hit. It was like, you don't care. You just want it to be funny. It's not like I'm saying like, I wouldn't do Free Candy now, I'm just saying, like, yeah, okay, your reference point changes as you grow older.
Your reference point changes, and when you're younger too, you're a little more. You have more confidence without thinking things through. In a good way, I think. Like being a little more naive in general helps. Just do whatever you think's funny without like caring about the consequences of or what may come. But like, this wasn't consequences, but just like how. Whatever, we were and flipping about everything. I remember for like an F&D TV, the idea was like Vinny is at a payphone, like calling his mom for like a ride home. And then it slowly pulls out and you see that he's at a police station and he's in full like prostitute gear with like a short miniskirt and high heels and all this stuff.
I forgot about that.
So I called like 2 police stations. And was like, "Hello, sir. Like, we're fellow filmmakers." And I was like, "Can we please use your film something at your payphones?" And I remember the guy being like, "What are you trying to shoot?" And I was like, "Well, the idea is my friend is going to be," and I just fully was like, and he's wearing this little like this cute tight little skirt, and you pull back and da. And the cop's like, "No, I mean." You're trying to shoot at a payphone? Like he was more of like, we don't have payphones, dude. Like that's not a thing.
Just piggybacking off of what you were saying, Coop, that also like the need to be like shocking or edgy kind of goes away as you like do stuff. And at a certain point, it's like, we don't need to do that anymore. It's like already been done. But also now, I really do wonder now, like how there's so much more like awful shit on display that like I don't know how much of an interest I know that we would have in being like shocking or edgy when there's like just so much more videos of like people dying. Like Reddit, you're scrolling through Instagram and it's like, it's that fucking Bo Burnham song where it's like, here's a cute puppy, here's a fucking bombing in some country, you know? It's like, it's insane.
When I told some people we were working on a horror movie, they were like, do you think the world needs a horror movie right now?
Really?
Shut up. Shut up. There's always room for a horror.
Yeah, talk to every film investor out there right now. It's all they want.
People love horror still.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Horror's doing just fine. But to that point, yeah, I mean, we got it out of our system, you know. Having said that, we got a lot of things up our sleeve that future work.
We
never write us off.
We might piss some people off.
We might piss on some people.
We might piss on some people and piss them right off.
Did you guys see that video of that that woman pissing on that dude's face on stage?
Oh, I think so. Thank you, internet.
Cool. Is this the same? Is this the one where the girl pees out SpaghettiOs?
No, that's interior semiotics.
I love that you still remember
For
the
anybody,
name of
go
that.
look it up. Interior semiotics. But you must be 18 years or older.
Anyway.
Well, that brings us nicely to It's All Good. Like how it even got started. Like, do you guys remember?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like, Aaron, I remember you came to me and you were like, you had the concept. You were like, the whole kind of meta concept was already like, you kind of had it all formed. And then you told me, and I was like, yes. And I remember we told you shortly after, and you were also like on board immediately.
Yeah, I remember being in the office on Clark and like being in that room. And I vividly remember you like giving the first like seed of that. I like the idea of it being meta in like that being the concept and just being like,
yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's it.
Because if I remember correctly, like we didn't have any of the details of what the film would actually be. It was just, I think I just had the idea of like, we're going to do a crowdfund campaign, act like we run with the money, and that's what the movie's about.
I mean, you had the log line basically in that whole, a movie about not making a movie within the meta thing, you know, I think was, that was great. And then it all just kind of happened.
But then when we were like, yes, we're doing it, then it quickly became what actually transpired. You know, it was like we had never written a feature, right? I mean, It's All Good was clearly our first complete feature.
Yeah.
But the way we wrote it was probably would break it would be every screenwriting teacher's nightmare because it was like we were shooting it as we were going, formulating it. It was a mess, but we made
rewriting
it work.
scenes the night before. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the night before rewriting scenes, literally edited so much of it, pretty much the whole thing, then realized, oh, you know, it'd be nice here is if we had a scene about blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and shoot that. All right, let's lose that. Okay, let's reshoot the entire first 20 minutes of the movie now because that's not working.
Yep.
So, like, let's
rewrite.
I
forgot we fucking did
reshoot.
That.
It was like the craziest hodgepodge, but still, like, look, that's like one of the most fun times I've ever had, like going that whole process. Yeah,
it was. Oh my god, it was amazing. I think I tallied it. Eventually, it was like over 60 shoot days is what we had over the course of almost 2 years. Because the farm stuff. Remember, we shot twice at the farm. One long weekend, if I remember correctly, in like the year 2014, I believe. And then we needed to do pickups after, like you had said, we formed a lot of the movie and we were like, oh, we need to redo this scene. We need to shoot this. So we went back in 2015, shot more at the farm for like a long weekend. I mean, that's how like, you know, like slopped together the story was, just forming it as we went.
I do. Do you guys remember we actually did write a feature before we did It's All Good? Remember
which one was it?
It was the high school one. Where like,
oh yeah,
remember like I wrote like full on musical songs for that. Like it was like the JC character. Like we wrote
Down and Dirty.
Down and Dirty.
Did I forget that?
We wrote an actual, and then we like sent it to people, and they were like, "This isn't very funny. This needs a lot of work." And we were like, "Cool."
Well, I remember we had one actor in mind. And we were like, oh my gosh, this actor would be perfect for this role. And he was like, he's not like a celebrity, but he definitely has been in some stuff. And we sent it to him and he's like, look, guys, I read a lot of comedies and this needs work.
Yeah.
This doesn't read very funny. The story's all over the place. And we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember. I think he called it in the comedy department, it's lacking or something like the department. And I was like, all right. And I remember trying to
citrus.
I was like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was like, we really want Tom Lennon for this thing and this person for that role. Like, that'd be great. And I remember he came back and was like, I have the same manager as Tom Lennon, almost like calling me out on like, has he even heard about this? Like, da-da-da. And I was like, all right, dude, I'm just trying to gauge if you're interested. What, Vin? You got that?
No, I was like,
look.
Well, no, I was like, I had a thought, and I was like, it's not that important.
Sometimes I can't tell if you have a thought or if you have to fart. It's just that in between face, you know.
No, I was
Things
just
that make
gonna.
you go.
I was saying, remember they had the character in that script. It was like the principal, and he was having an affair with a student, but he wanted to do it so like he dressed up like her and she dressed up like him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She would dress up as the principal with like the bald cap, and yeah, that was great.
That was good.
And I remember we showed it to our dear friend Mike, who older, more conservative guy, and he was like, I don't know about that principal student relationship. And of course we were like, come on, it's funny.
Yeah, I still want to revisit the core concept of that script one day because I think like the bones of it is funny. But I did revisit the script not too long ago, and guys, not that good. Not that good. But it's okay.
I'll have to dig up some of the rough songs that are recorded.
I mean, I'm sure the songs were good. There was probably like there's absolutely funny bits in it, but writing our new one, like anything, you just when you practice at it and you get better, then you look back at the old stuff and you're like, oh gosh. So you're right, Coop. Yeah, we did. There was a feature before It's All Good, but with It's All Good, obviously, it was so chaotic, like filming it, but that whole movie was built by favors and people doing it because they love making movies. Taylor Russ, Katie Mihalik, so many people that like came to help us, and for pennies on the dollar. We had such little money and such high ambitions. We did the opposite of what you should do. We wrote this outlandish script with all these locations, and then we're like, how are we going to do this for $75,000? Oh, we have a club scene. Oh, we have a whole part of it take place on this big open farm. Like, luckily, Coop, like many times before, is like, my friend owns a farm. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, dude. And we can go up there and chill for a whole week. And it was like, exactly that. It was like, oh, yeah, bring you and a bunch of your friends. We'll sleep on the floors.
Dude, those nights on the farm were the best.
Those were the best. That was awesome.
We can't get that back.
Drinking, staying up late, smoking, getting up early. We got to shoot.
If you want, like my friend who his family owned it, it was like the rule was like, SIGs inside, no big deal. Like
SIGs inside.
Oh, that's my other buddy. Always asks that. He used to ask that at parties. Hey, SIGs inside or no? No. What the fuck are you talking about? Go outside, animal. But no, this place, SIGs inside.
Yeah, drinking until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Calls at 6.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we got to get up early. We got a sunrise to shoot. Hey, we got this scene started at 8 a.m. We would just pack those days in, and I don't think I was ever more tired and more awake, weirdly, than shooting that stuff.
I will say too, though, my wife Jess and then Aaron, your wife Julie, when they came up and like surprised us one day, I think they like came up to set. And Jess has told me a couple times before, like she was like, that's like, I just like watching you walk around with like, we had like the PA walkies and stuff. And she was like, man, that was like the happiest I've seen you guys like all just like walking around, just floating, just shooting this thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I felt that for sure. Especially those scenes. It was like it was great. Even though we had that whole shoot, I remember it was chaos because we wore so many hats. We didn't have like a full blown crew to help us with stuff. I mean, we were doing the producing and doing locations, everything ourselves, but it was, I don't know, it was just like it was so much fun, but also so stressful at the same time.
Do you guys remember that woman that showed up early one morning? Because we had tripped some box, like some electric box that like for the electric fence.
Oh yeah, and she was like, "You could have let all the cows out."
Yeah, I remember I had to write her like a $300 check, like right there. I was like, "What? I'm sorry. How much is it?"
Yeah, what was the lights that like broke something, or like we were running too much power and it tripped something?
Yeah, something like that. And then I guess it was broken. Because I think it was Grant's farm, right, Coop?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even remember if we called him or like, because it was like their family's farm, but like they had other people like help them manage it because like no one was actually there.
Right.
That was probably not even a thing. She just hustled us. Probably we were too dumb to know what she was talking about. We were like, okay, the cows. Yeah, how much do you need?
Dude, oh man, that was so cool though. Being out in the cornfield and like the soy fields.
Yeah. Just shooting on location. Save so much money.
Do you guys remember feeling stressed when it came time to actually reveal the stunt? Like when the movie was wrapped, we were talking to our good pal, who I want to give a shout out to, Ryan Beschel, who did the PR for us on the film, who like years before we were done with it, we told him the initial idea and he was like, "Yep, I'm your guy for this. Like, I love the idea. I'm going to help you." And Ryan ended up getting us exclusive on Esquire, and then it hit Daily Dot, IndieWire, and we got crazy press. But I remember up until we released the update video saying we weren't going to do it, and even then after, I was more stressed than I have ever been in my whole life.
You were tweaking, man. I remember that. I remember you wanted to pull the plug like ASAP, and I'm glad we stretched it a little bit more because then you got that Fox interview, which like really tied it all together. Where basically Aaron, Fox News, we baited them. Hey, I was scammed on this crowdfund, and these guys just got away with all of our money, and Fox News bid on it and did like small town crimes, like not gonna get by me. I'm Lester McMolton. And then Lester McMolton, whatever, interviewed Aaron, and Aaron just had to like straight face it. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. We just like tried the best.
I'm still impressed.
You did so well, but I remember us like at an ad agency during a job or something, like huddling in a room, being like on the phone with Ryan, like, we have this thing with Fox. Should we do it? Or should we, like, what's the best way to go? And Ryan, he was just, I think, left it up to us in the end. And I think we were like, no, you got to go on, man. You got to go on.
And in the background of the shot, the editing software is open and you're literally editing the film.
Yeah, or I had a picture as my screensaver. I think I had a picture of the film, like you screaming.
So good.
That a little Easter egg planted in there. Yeah, no, that was... I think it was the hardest because that period when it was like before we released it, we already had people mad that it was like taking so long to get out. And then when we said that it wasn't going to happen, then you had the real people that you have to watch out for, because the people that are dangerous are not the ones that lose their money. The people that are dangerous are the ones that hear about it and they're mad for the other people. That mob was a little scary. And I just remember thinking like, this has got to work. This is like, this stunt has, because if it goes out with a flop, it felt like not only the film was dead in the water, but it felt like the last 2 years were like, what was it for?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys remember being super paranoid about it leaking too? I remember for 2 years, I was so worried the idea of what we were doing was going to leak.
Yeah, I remember being... Yeah, I was worried about that.
I mean, that's like, if anything gets out, then it's, then it's the whole concept is screwed. When the whole concept of the film relies on a guerrilla marketing stunt to go well, then there's a lot of pressure just on like being tight-lipped and just trying to basically ask all these people to come shoot a movie, but not really telling them the greater plan behind it. just being like, yeah, come on, here, this is what the scene is, and here's
Yeah.
kind of what the movie's about. But like, we didn't tell actors, like, for the most part, like, hey,
We
by
would
the
just
way,
give them their scene.
yeah.
Yeah, we would just say this is what the scene is, and they'd be like, okay, what's the context? What's the movie about? It's like, don't worry about it.
Wasn't there one guy who like I feel like there was one person who like posted something and we had to be like, no, don't do that, take that down.
So yeah,
Do you guys remember?
I was actually just going to bring that up. We had one of the guys who ran B camera for us on the farm. It was that situation. He wasn't privy to
Right.
the whole meta concept. And so when we posted the update video saying like, oh, the movie, we weren't able to make it happen, he's commenting on the video like, they're lying. I was with them. I shot in Illinois with them. And I was like, it was like red alert. We had to contact him so quick and be like, please take down all your comments. Like, this is the whole gist. I'll tell you everything. But that was scary.
Yeah, we should have got NDAs on set.
Yeah. Our small.
Any type of paperwork we had, we probably just copy and paste it off of Google and probably didn't even change the production name of whatever we took it from. Like,
It was like a binder. It was like an old binder with pages falling out of it. Like, trying to keep track of like all those names and signatures and like it's such a headache. I mean, it would have been a headache if it was like it was the only job that I had to do or whoever. I mean, we all kind of chipped in doing it. But I mean, I remember like having that notebook and just being like, this sucks.
Yeah.
There's no way this is all going to stay organized.
Yeah, it was a lot. But then you could say it's all good. Because
I see what you did there.
when we pushed out the trailer, I remember we were on set that day. Remember we were shooting that campaign for Sears, and it was like the day we released the trailer, and I couldn't even focus. It's just like watching the comments come in, and it felt like such a weight off our shoulders. I don't know. It was like 2 years of not being able to say anything. It was like, finally.
Yeah, I don't know what's funnier, like the movie itself or the fact that we were doing a campaign for Sears.
Probably the
doesn't
Sears
even
campaign.
it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it felt good. Like when we actually had like a viewing party when the Fox story came out. Like I remember we all were like drinking whiskey or beer or whatever at like our office, and there were like 20 of us there just watching, Aaron be interviewed and totally fake his way through this stunt and like totally fooling this Fox reporter. And then, it cuts back to like the studio and they're like, thanks, Lester. And, and that's just a lesson, everybody. Be careful what you invest your money in. And then up next is weather. And we're all just like, yeah, we just like start freaking out. Like it worked.
And I think that going forward after the experience of doing that, I'm so much more intrigued about being collaborative with people and like our audience on new projects. Like, because I think that was something I missed so much, is being able to like talk about, some filmmakers like update people and like the whole journey. And that's what I wanted to do deep down. Like I wanted to be able to post behind the scenes pictures and be like, oh, we're shooting here today. Like call on all our fans, like call on people who like our stuff to help us, like, hey, we're looking for music. We're looking for extras. And none of that we were able to do for the most part.
Right. I mean, that's like, Vin, I talked to you about this already, but that's Charlie XCX, that artist. Like her last album she wrote over quarantine was like, she wrote it live with her fans in chat rooms and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Right.
So they would just be live while she was like, brainstorming and figuring out songs. And then she would be stuck on a lyric and people would throw out suggestions and she'd read through and like implement some of them. And then like a week later, the demo would be out and she'd send everybody, show her the progress and everything. So
That's awesome.
She literally, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be cool with because now we can talk about it. We have talked about it, but working on Grundy, like, I mean, it'd be great to like, just like have someone with the daily cam and just like do a daily like on set every day,
Yeah, have that footage
like behind the scenes and be uploading it as we're shooting it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna feel so refreshing when we get into the next one and it's not a big secret. It's just, I can't wait.
So if anybody's got, a cool million, we'll take it.
A little under, maybe. I got to talk to you
Little
guys.
under, maybe.
Got to talk to you guys after the pod about where the budget's coming in at.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we could make it happen, and it's a good script. It's good script.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Nice. Is that the sign off? Is that how you guys sign off? You do
It can be now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do an
I
LD.
didn't mean to rush a sign off. I just didn't.
No,
I
no,
just
no.
felt like it.
I think you're right.
No, I feel pretty. I'm feeling
Were you gonna say pretty good, weren't you?
pretty.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I'm pretty bored of this conversation. Now I'm ready to fucking peace out.
Yeah. What do you think people are gonna think about this? We're just talking about our the movies and stuff.
Well, I mean, that someone commented. They said they wanted to hear more about us. So,
all right. Well, that person will be fulfilled.
No, but for real, Coop, it's like, let's do a part 2. Like it just, I feel like there's so much more that I want to talk about. I wanted to get into sketches more. We'll have to do that next time. And somebody,
Yeah, maybe we can try to write one together on the podcast.
that would
That'd be
actually
fun.
be hilarious.
We'll give ourselves 5 minutes, but set the timer and try to write a quick sketch.
I love that idea. Another one that I wanted to do, Coop, that maybe is good to plan for now because it'll take a little bit, is to read our favorite comments. So maybe we all divide and conquer on some of our favorite sketches, and we go through and cherry pick the very best comments, good and bad,
Ooh,
and we read them together. I think that could be
love it.
pretty good time.
I do wonder how many like real good ones there will be. I mean, outside of the petite feet comments, which is petite feet saga is a whole thing we can get into later. But
Oh gosh,
I think like our comments are overwhelmingly positive. I think people were very supportive. Like we never got so popular that like people spam with a bunch of like hateful shit. There were definitely negative comments. I mean, I remember like reading. It's like insane. Like in a slew of positive comments, like one negative one would be enough to like ruin my whole fucking week.
Sure.
But like I'm just curious like what type of comments like I'll even find that are intriguing or interesting.
I think you'd be surprised, man, if you dig deep enough on anything. I mean, parkour kids, there is a wealth of gold there. I mean, we pissed off some parkour enthusiasts, and their responses are gold. So there'll be no shortage of comments to read and discuss and laugh at.
Lovely.
Well, hey Coop, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course,
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, we got.
I mean, Vin, I haven't seen you in like a week.
It's wild,
maybe
dude.
Maybe
I
it was
missed-
2.
when's your guys' sketch coming out?
I gotta edit it still.
Yeah, Vin's got to edit. This is literally the dynamic forever. Like I goof around, and then then I go sit on the couch, and I'm like, man, I wonder what's taking Vin so long to edit that thing. Or Aaron, like all the dailies, it's like, I'm just gonna be a nuisance wrecking ball, and then cool. So there's 2 hours of crap. Make like a 2-minute piece of gold out of it, please.
But Coop, see, what you don't see is that you're the best part often of those, and so you delivered gold. So I would
Your work's done.
I will happily take the time to edit it because I get to edit the footage of you, and it would just make
You get to
make
Aaron.
time.
Well,
You
that's
get to
sweet.
edit a
That's sweet.
SAG actor.
Yeah, dude, SAG
that's something you get to do.
verified union actor.
Well,
Oh my gosh, wait till we get hit by the bill for that, dude. They haven't discovered all our dailies. Just wait.
Oh yeah, no, they're gonna come after you hard.
You're gonna sink FND. What are all these?
Sinking.
What is this?
What's this video where you make yourself sick eating yogurt?
Oh right, yeah, no, and this. Oh, that's extra. That's a stunt. That's a stunt.
Did you have a stunt official on set?
We had Tums. We had Mr. T.
All right, guys. Well, I had a lovely
Shit.
time.
That was quick, guys.
Everything fun has to come to a close.
The long and winding road. Isn't that what that's about?
I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
What song is that? Yeah, what are you
It's
singing?
McCartney.
Oh,
Is that
Yeah, I guess
new
so.
McCartney or old McCartney?
That's middle ground McCartney. That's post Beatles,
Before Rush.
You mean
Yeah.
Wings?
Wings?
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was that's pre Wings, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was McCartney. He didn't do that on Let It Be. Anyway, someone will say, actually, he did. It was on Let It Be, track 4.
Beatles. I'm not a huge Beatles fan.
Oh,
Sacrilege.
God, that's a way to go out, bro.
Sorry. I don't get all that.
only like the Stones.
I only like rap, rock, rock. Go listen to our music episode. And
I only listen to Skindred. Oh yeah, I was
Anything you
thinking,
can swing to.
You know, I was thinking yesterday that if you mixed ska and reggae, is it ska gay or ska gay? Anything mixed with reggae, it's
Ray ska. Right? No, yeah. Skagay.
Toad's in a skagay right now. It's my new fave.
okay.
Right.
Let's end this nonsense.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Phone Calls. Cooper, I love you, buddy.
Love you.
Cooper, and I love you, Cooper.
And I love you too. Pew. Call disconnected.
It's Phone Calls.